The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, REL-MAR McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Hi, this is Todd DeCastro, producer at the Talkstar Radio Network, wishing Rob McConnell and the X-Zone Nation a very Merry Christmas and a healthy and prosperous New Year.
Under the tree for me, been an awful good girl, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Toll-free worldwide, 1-800-610-7035. That is toll-free worldwide, 1-800-610-7035. Our email address, xzone@xzoneradio.com, on MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our websites, www.xzoneradio.com and xzonetv.com. My guest this hour, X-Zone Nation, is Dennis Balthaser, and we're so happy whenever Dennis joins us. As a young man, Dennis would look into the night sky and wonder what secrets it might hold. Some years later, Dennis bought a book about UFOs, and his wonders turned into investigation. Today, he has a library with over 90 books in reference to ufology. He served 3 years from 1959 to 62 in the United States Army in the 815th Engineering Battalion. And initially, Dennis worked as an engineering consultant in Roswell, volunteering his time at the International UFO Museum and Research Center on weekends. 9 months later, he resigned from the engineering firm, assuming the duties of IUFOMRC Operations Manager. He served on the board of directors and became the UFO Investigator for the museum as a full-time volunteer from 1996 to 1998, then began his research as an independent researcher. And Dennis is certified with the Mutual UFO Network as a field investigator and a member of the Great Pyramid of Giza Research Association, and he also belongs to several other UFO organizations. His website is truthseeker@roswell.com. And Dennis, welcome back to the X-Zone. How are you, good sir?
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Dennis, you sent us an article which we're always proud to publish in the X-Chronicles newspaper, except this one here kind of threw me for a loop when I read it, and I was wondering if you could give our listeners the gist of it before we go to our 2-minute break.
Well, it sent me for a loop, too, because I wasn't aware that this type of thing was going on in the field of ufology. I guess I should have been aware of it, but I wasn't. A gentleman by the name of William Nell, who now resides in Lebanon, Indiana, has for years been pirating researchers' DVDs on his website without their permission, which is it's a federal offense for one thing, and he's got away with this for many years, having done it and having websites shut down and finding another website and doing it again. It all came to a head for me when Frank Warren, who has the UFO Chronicles blog, had posted a article that was written by Angela Joyner, who is well known for the Stephenville, Texas incident recently. And Angela called him and said that she thought that somebody was taking her copyrighted article and putting their name to it, and this turned out to be Bill Nell. So Frank did some checking and come to find out that this has been going on for decades for this guy, and that he compiled a list of names. He went to the website, and while he was looking through Nell's website, which was the UFOguy.com, he discovered there was a DVD for sale by Scott Ramsey from North Carolina, who's done a lot of good research on the Aztec incident for several years. Excuse me. He notified Scott, and Scott said, well, he never gave him permission to sell that DVD. And Scott notified the local authorities in Lebanon, Indiana, and also the FBI, because the guy was illegally selling the DVD.
All right, let's continue this on the other side of this commercial break. Dennis Balthaser is our very special guest. It's great having Dennis on the show whenever he can make it. His website is www.truthseeker@roswell.com. My name is Rob McConnell, and you're listening to the X Zone, live from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Hi, this is Ed Shiflett, COO of White Springs Media, wishing all the X-Zone Nation, Rob and Laura, and everybody else a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Of a white Christmas. By now in New York City, there's snow on the ground, and out in California, the sunshine's falling down, and maybe down in Memphis, Graceland's all in light. And in Atlanta, Georgia, there's peace on earth tonight. Christmas in Dixie, it's snowing in the pines. Merry Christmas from Dixie to everyone tonight.
And welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. This is the X Zone. We're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Our toll-free number is worldwide 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradio.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. And our websites, www.xzoneradio.com and www.xzonetv.com. I'm just going to read you a little bit from the editorial that our good friend Dennis Balthaser sent us to publish in the November issue of the X Chronicles. And it's entitled, Piracy, a Silent Plague on Ufology. To quote a Chinese proverb, when someone shares something of value with you and you benefit from it, you have a moral obligation to share it with others, which is what I'll try to do in this article. I have been working closely with my Webster researcher Frank Warren of the UFOchronicles.com and the Aztec researchers Scott and Suzanne Ramsey for the past 12 years on various UFO cases, highly respecting them for their honesty and thorough investigations. We have dealt with debunkers, skeptics, and critics of all sorts and have even welcomed their comments, if and when the information they presented was factually worthy of review. There is another, quieter element in ufology. Aside from debunkers, skeptics, and critics, they are the hucksters who use other researchers' work without doing their own, those who take from others' research or articles and publish the work as their own, or plagiarism. Then there are the other scoundrels who market or sell Reacher's works, such as DVDs of lectures or documentaries, without permission or financial arrangements made with the researchers, which is piracy. I have recently found that I am myself a victim of piracy, and this is what I feel a moral obligation to share with my readers. Joining me now is Dennis Balthaser, www.truthseeker@roswell.com. So how did you feel on the inside when you found out that the work that you had done is being taken by someone else, sold at a lower rate than what you yourself, the author and legal owner of these works, are selling them for?
Well, I had talked to Scott and Frank about a year ago, and they had told me about this Nell guy, but I didn't pay much attention to it because I didn't know I was personally involved at the time. And they had been working, trying to get some authorities to do something about it, and became frustrated. And when that happened, then they went through his website, and they found a list of about 80 names that Nell was using that had DVDs, some of them by different titles. In my case, he took my Roswell lecture, my DVD, combined it with about 5 or 6 other researchers, and changed the title of the two DVD set that he was selling. So my next move was to complain directly to Nell. Mm-hmm. I had notified. I wrote a letter or an email to Nell, letting him know that I had discovered that he was selling this illegally, and I also copied it to BraveNet, which I believe is a Canadian company that was the host of his website.
That's right, they're out of Vancouver.
Yeah, and they gave me a runaround and said they would look at it, they'd get their legal department. Well, I didn't get a response from Nell within 24 hours as the host BraveNet requires, so I wrote a second letter to him, and I got the same typical response that he gives to everybody about not having any money, having illnesses, and trying to sell DVDs. The problem he made for himself was in his response, and I'll quote, he said, "Apart from that, I have only sold a few DVDs over the past year, and most of them were my own," meaning, of course, that he was selling other people's works also. So I really got an admission from him that he was doing it. And then he went into 4 or 5 paragraphs about how poor he was and all this and why he was doing this. And the more we checked into this guy, the more we realized how long he had been doing this type of work. He was in Arizona and had a website where he was selling puppies, dogs. Mm-hmm. People would pay $900 to $2,000, and he either wouldn't deliver what they ordered, or he would substitute other dogs if he delivered anything.
In fact, I just received this from our newsroom. They sent me an article that was on Ripoff Report. Mm-hmm. And it says, Bill Nell, author, speaker, paranormal researcher, Catherine Nell, professional internet fraud. Do not send him money. You will not get any of the services for the money which you just helped him and pay their bills. Do not send him money, blah, blah, blah. I see that he has stopped selling puppies. Now it's books. He is ripping off people. He owes me $1,000 for a puppy I never received. The puppy I was supposed to get he has it posted on his website, just a cute puppy, and was simply adorable. I even named him. I bought a ton of puppy stuff that was not returnable, and neither was my $1,000. Bill and Catherine are dishonest people. And there's other listings on here, and
well, you can go to a Google search or something like that, and do Bill Nell fraud or anything like that, and there's just probably hundreds of complaints there about the man. And what we wound up doing was contacting several law enforcement agencies, and I'm really bothered the fact that the FBI has a division called IC3,
right?
Which is computer, whatever. Anyway, it goes and looks into piracy of DVDs, and in the music industry, they're right on top of this. Mm-hmm. If someone has a DVD out or a video with music, and it's pirated, the FBI will jump on them in a minute and prosecute them. I'm hopeful that because we're UFO researchers that the FBI isn't ignoring this, because I've not had any response from the FBI that they received my complaint, And we have asked some 30 other researchers to file these IC3 complaint forms, which just take a few minutes to fill out. And we've not heard anything back yet from the FBI, so I'm a little leery about, what we're getting as far as the authorities trying to help us.
Now, where does Bill Nell call home?
Where does he call home now?
Yes.
Lebanon, Indiana.
Wow.
And we have contacted that local police department, and they have told us to be patient, that they're working on it, and that's been over a year. We also notified the North Carolina Sheriff's Department, Rowan County, the FTC, the USDA, Visa, the State Attorney Generals of Arizona and Indiana, Western Union, the Royal Canadian Mounties, and I also found out that he's selling some of these DVDs on Amazon.com. My particular DVD was not listed on Amazon, but I did write to him and made him aware of what he's doing. And unless you personally have an involvement with one of your products on Amazon, they won't do anything about it. So the guys that do have research being pirated need to contact Amazon also. But what we've done is try to contact all these people and have them complete this IC3 form, because we feel that if we can inundate the FBI with these complaints, perhaps they'll take a look at it. And we've also gone to websites where we've known that his articles are published and asked that the web host of those sites take his information off. We're trying to get him completely out of circulation. He needs to be prosecuted and put in jail is what he needs.
Well, about how old a man would he be?
Pardon?
How old would he be? Is he a young kid? Is he a teenager? Is he a grown adult?
Oh, he's a grown adult. He has a grown daughter that's in on it with him, as well as his wife. From time to time, he'll have the daughter's name as the person to send checks to rather than his own.
Well, what's the daughter's name?
And
may as well get this information out to the X-Zone Nation.
Well, let me look and see if I can find that.
Sure. Dennis Balthaser is our special guest. We're talking about piracy within the UFO community. www.truthseeker@roswell.com.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, what's her name?
His name's Bill Nell, Knell. His wife's name is Catherine, with a C.
Right.
And the daughter is Jamie Nell. In his response to me, he said that his wife, Catherine, had nothing to do with the website, works as a fast food restaurant, and earns above minimum wage. His daughter has nothing to do with the website, when in fact on his website her name was listed to send the checks to. So those are outright lies that he's doing. And this response that I got from him is typical of what other people have received. I understand Linda Moulton Howe actually filed a lawsuit against him 10 years ago with one of the major TV networks when he was selling one of her presentations on his site illegally. So this has been going on for a long time, and we're finally trying to get enough people together, researchers. As you know, we don't make money doing this. We do this out of devotion mostly.
And you pay everything out of your own pockets?
Yeah. I lose $2,000 to $4,000 a year doing the research, and fortunately my wife lets me do that. But I feel that the research is important, and I like to keep it going.
All right, here's some websites, X-Zone Nation, www.billnell.com. And then our researchers came up with arizonapups.com. And there's another one, aztoydogs.com are also ones. And he's showing an address according to, according to one of our researchers, that they were basing their business out of Arizona. Now, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, he was out of Arizona. He got run out of Arizona and put out of business out there, and then, as far as we know, moved to Lebanon, Indiana. Frank Warren advised me this week that the site had finally been taken down. That BraveNet that hosts his website.
This is Susan Walker, also known as Taylor Likens from Miracle on 34th Street at www.miracleon34th.org, wishing Rob McConnell and the X-Zone Nation a very Merry Christmas, whether you believe in Santa or not.
Why have you
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Come on, weatherman, give us a forecast, snowy white. Can't you hear the prayers of every childlike heart tonight? The Rockies are calling, Denver snow falling. Somebody said it's 4 feet deep. But it doesn't matter, give me the laughter. I'm gonna choose to keep another tender Tennessee Christmas, the only Christmas for me, where the love circles around us like the gifts beneath our tree.
Welcome back, everyone. Dennis Balthaser is our special guest this hour. His website is www.truthseeker@roswell.com. And you can read the entire article on piracy in ufology by going... Just send me an email. It's a lot easier this way. Send an email to xzone@xzoneradio.com. We'll send you a link to how you can go and read and download the entire November issue of the S Chronicles newspaper. Dennis, what are other people within the world of ufology saying about this blatant theft of their proprietary material?
Well, surprisingly, Rob, I'm not getting the response I was hoping to get from some of them. A few that I have talked to have agreed to send the IC3 form into the FBI, which is what we're after. But a lot of them seem complacent about it, and I don't know. It bothers me that they're not jumping on top of this and trying to help put an end to it, because numbers here are going to be important. If we can inundate the FBI with complaints, then I think we can get some results. But I'm satisfied that we've had responses, but I wish there would have been more. He did an interview on the Paracast with Gene Steinberg, and they were questioning in some of his background. He claimed to have been an advisor of the X-Files TV show and several movies, and also that he had written articles for the New York Times, and they did some checking, and there is no reference at all to a Bill Nell with anything to do with any of those. And it got to the point where he finally hung up on the radio host on that show. They had cornered him pretty well, and he no longer would discuss it and hung up.
You know, to this very day on his website at www.ufoguy.org, on his pages that are about Bill Nell, it says, Bill Nell is a popular speaker, author, and paranormal researcher featured in the Wall Street Journal and New York Times, seen on NBC Nightly News and Fox News, heard on Mancow and Howard Stern, consultant to films like Independence Day, Men in Black, The Fifth Element, and War of the Worlds.
That's all BS.
I'm sorry, World of the Worlds, not War of the Worlds, World of the Worlds.
He's not done any of it.
None of it?
No.
And
just his way of selling himself and trying, and what's bad is the poor victims. You know, they get poor quality copies of researchers' DVDs, which he copies, and the people that buy these things believe that he is a distributor and the director on these films, and they don't look at him as the problem. They look at the researcher as the problem, because of them selling their stuff online, and don't realize that he's doing that illegally. There's been a lot of people ripped off, as with the dog business, and the few cases where he gives money back, he writes hot checks. So they haven't been able to track him down or get him stopped. I told him that I have all of my lectures, which are about 4 or 5 lectures that I do on PowerPoint, they're all copyrighted with the Library of Congress in Washington, which is not even needed. Your original work is copyrighted. But I went to the trouble of paying to have these things logged at the Library of Congress in Washington, so, I've got myself covered. And his normal procedure when someone writes to him and complains is he removes it, and he tells you that he removed it from the site. Sure enough, he does. But if you wait a short period of time, it's going to be back up there again. When he thinks the heat's off, he'll put it back up for sale again.
Now, some of the CDs and audio CDs that he is selling on his website are, what, $49, $50 a set?
Yeah. If you went to the researcher or to an approved distributor, you probably paid anywhere from $20 to $30, $40 for that thing, and he's combining 5 and 6 together in a 2 DVD set like he did with mine and selling it for something like $7. The thing he didn't realize was we hard copied his whole website. So we have documentation, printed documentation of everything he was selling. That was before he took some of them off. So we have that, and if we have to go to a court of law or through the authorities, we have that to back it up.
Do you think that the FBI are looking at this and saying, oh, geez, we've got bigger and better things to work on than these little UFO crimes?
Yeah, that's what scares me. And like I said before, they get after people on music videos. They jump on top of them and prosecute them and put them away. And with us, with the UFO thing, maybe, now I hate to think that, but maybe that's what's happening. Maybe they think, well, these are just UFO nuts. We're not going to worry about them.
I'm sure you've spoken to many people within the UFO community about this problem. And, for example, some of the other authors, could it be that they're looking at it and saying, well, geez, I'm getting the exposure, so I'm losing a couple of bucks here, there, and everywhere. Big deal.
Well, I hope not. Stanton Friedman has 3 of them that he was selling. I've got a list in front of me here of 80, I think it's 80 names on here, 81 names. Stephen Bassett, Stan Friedman, Ted Phillips, Timothy Good, Travis Walton, Whitney Strieber, Zachariah Stitchen, and I'm just going down the list here, Philip Corso, Peter Robbins, the estate of Paul Benowitz, Linda Moulton Howe, John Lear, Jim Mars, James Fox, who has the big hit movie
Out of the Blue,
and Fox hasn't done anything. Frank has contacted him several times trying to get him to send this thing in to the FBI. He's not done it. Gilles Bordeaux from France, George Facette, George Knapp from Las Vegas TV. John Schmidt.
Well, what's the difference? Then what is the difference? Tell me here, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way. If someone takes, let me see, an audio or video clip, let's use a clip from a DVD and puts it up on YouTube without the authorization of yourself or another ufologist.
Selling it?
Giving it away.
Well, I think it would still be a form of piracy because of copyright law.
But if they give you full credit?
If they give you credit, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
So this guy's basically...
I don't know if that's a legal point, but personally, I wouldn't have a problem with it because many times kids write to me and ask to help them with reports they're doing. And I usually ask them to show my website, just as a reference. And 99% of the time, they're happy to do that to get the information. So that I always have looked at as good publicity for me for my research. If somebody wants to use my work and ask my permission, I'm happy to do that, providing they show the website and give me the credit for it. Where in this case, he's just taking it, recopying them, renaming them, and selling them. And that, to me, is the hang-up.
That is. That truly is, because what he's doing is he's selling it as his, like you said, his own work with your approval. Right.
And he, on the Angela Joyner article, he lied to Frank and said that he had her permission to do that, when in fact he didn't. So, between lying and the piracy and the plagiarism, he's just full of it.
What do you think should happen? What laws do you think should be tightened in order to avoid this from happening in the future with other DVDs and other people who may very well be doing the same thing at the same time, but you just don't know about it.
That's possible, and that's one of the unfortunate things about the internet, I guess, is that there's so much out there that can be done without you knowing about it. I know I've written articles that I've kind of regretted that are going to be on the internet for the rest of time, because once they're there, unless they're taken off, and in most cases they're not. So the internet is a problem because there is no controlling it, really, but we do have copyright infringement laws. We do have agencies like the FBI who are supposed to investigate these things and prosecute. And that's where we're at now, waiting on that to happen. And thus far, it hasn't happened in the year or better that Frank and Scott were working it in the last few months that I've been involved.
So over the last year and a couple of months, has anyone recontacted the investigation agency, such as the FBI or any of the other agencies involved in the enforcement of these laws?
Well, they've been contacted by I don't know how many researchers now. Scott Ramsey in North Carolina has personally talked to the local FBI agents several times about this, and apparently this headquarters for the FBI is in Indianapolis, Indiana. And anytime you send a form, the IC3 form in, that's where it goes. I talked to the local FBI office here. I personally know the guy that was the head of the FBI for years before he retired. And I asked him, should I submit a complaint through the local office? He said, if you send it to IC3, that goes directly to Indianapolis where we would forward it. So you don't need to do it locally.
How about the U.S. Postal Service? And I would imagine there's wire fraud involved here as well?
Well, I would think there'd be violations of the Postal Service because it's an illegal operation, yeah.
Amazing that this guy's... How long do you think, or how long do you believe, based on your research and the research of others in Tunnell, that he's been perpetrating this crime?
Well, I know of at least 10 years because of Linda Moulton Howe filing a suit against him about 10 years ago. So he's been doing it at least that long. And, he has to obtain these copies somewhere. So he's attending a lot of the conferences and symposiums, apparently purchasing these DVDs without permission, and then putting them up after he recopies them, putting them up on his website. So it's gone on for a long time.
Either that or what he's done is he's bought legitimate copies and has edited them together.
Well, I never met the man, so I don't know where he would have bought mine.
Well, what we're doing is we're trying to contact Bill Nell for an interview next week, and we're going to ask him these questions.
Okay.
And, we'll try and see what we can do to try and help you and other members of the UFO community who've been scammed.
Well, I can forewarn you, if he does you like he did Gene Steinberg on the Paracast, once you pressure him, he'll hang up on you.
Oh, he hangs up. He's just going to commit suicide. He's just going to kill himself in the in the stage of public opinion.
Yeah, that's right.
1-800-610-7035 is toll-free around the world. That's the new telephone number for the X-Zone Radio Show and the X-Zone TV Show. Our new MSN Messenger, X-Zone Radio TV at hotmail.com. Our websites, well, they're the same, www.xzoneradio.com and www.xzonetv.com. Dennis Balthaser is my very special guest, one of the hardest working UFO researchers that I've had the pleasure of meeting over the many years doing the X-Zone Radio Show. His website is www.truthseeker@roswell.com. Tell me, Dennis, speaking about Roswell, any new developments in the ongoing investigation into that crash going back to 1947?
It's funny you should ask, because just today I got information about a chaplain who was apparently stationed here in 1947. He was deceased. His wife has passed away, but his daughter has been contacted and never talked about Roswell to anyone. 10 days after the incident happened, he was shipped to the South Pacific, and they brought in a Catholic priest to become the chaplain at Roswell Army Airfield the 10th of July, a few days after the incident happened. This is something I had never heard before about the chaplain, but what is amazing to me, and I can't prove anything, but he was a black person, and back then there was a black group at Roswell on the airfield, but they were segregated. They were a separate unit. All the black men were into a separate unit at the base, and I'm surprised that a black person would have been the chaplain for the whole base at the time. It may not make any sense to anyone, but to me it just doesn't make sense. But some of the things that went on then, I don't understand, and I'm going to try to do a little more research on this, see what we can find out about it, but I had never heard this before.
All right, Dennis, please stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. Exo Nation, Dennis Balthaser's our special guest. www.truthseeker@roswell.com. That's www.truthseeker@roswell.com. And if you'd like to get a copy of the November issue of the X-Chronicles newspaper that has this entire story by Dennis in it, send an email to xzone@xzoneradio.com and we'll send you a link with our compliments. 1-800-610-7035 is the new number worldwide for the X-Zone Radio and TV show. Our MSN address has been changed to xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our websites www.xzoneradio.com and xzonetv.com. If you've had any negative or positive dealings with Bill Nell, send me an email, xzone@xzoneradio.com. We'll be back on the other side of this commercial break. Don't go away. Back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. Just received some breaking news here from our newsroom. Thanks to the people at CNN. Golfer Tiger Woods was injured in a car accident this morning. The Florida Highway Patrol reports. We'll have more information on this news breaking story as they become available. Once again, from the newsroom at CNN. Golfer Tiger Woods was injured in a car accident this morning. Injuries are unknown at this time. The Florida Highway Patrol is giving the reports. As soon as we have more information on this breaking story, we'll pass them on to you, the X-Zone Nation. Dennis Balthaser is our special guest, www.truthseeker@roswell.com. And first of all, Dennis, I want to thank you very much for joining us and for sending in those articles. And it's a pleasure knowing you all these years and working with you. And what can the listeners do to help stop this kind of piracy that's going on? And what should they do if they've purchased any of these CDs or DVDs from Bill Nell?
First of all, I really appreciate you posting the editorial. I normally sent my editorials out every other month to about 31 websites, UFO Magazine, the MUFON Journal. Mm-hmm. And I felt the more publicity I give it, the more chances we'd have people responding to it. If any researchers are wondering, if they're listening to the show and wondering if maybe they're involved, they can contact me at truthseeker@dfn.com. Go to my website, that email address is there, and I'll be happy to go through the list and see if they're listed. And if they are, then we can have them file the IC3 form again with the FBI. We're trying to get as many people involved. We're trying to locate as many of the researchers that are involved and get them to take action also, because we're going to stay with this. Scott and Frank and I have made a decision to stick this out and get this man prosecuted and put away so that he can't continue doing this. But I really do appreciate your effort and everything you've done for it.
Hey, it's my pleasure, pal. Tell me quickly, we're running out of time so fast here. Stevensville, any more big sightings there? Have there been any major sightings anywhere over the last couple of months?
They had, Stephenville had something not too long ago again, and there's something going on down there, but I'm not sure what it's all about yet. But there have been some more sightings in the Stephenville area, yes.
Dennis, I want to thank you once again for joining us tonight. And from our home to yours, a very Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy, and spiritually filled year 2010.
Same to you.
All right. Dennis Balthaser, Exo Nation, www.truthseeker@roswell.com. And we have our research department trying to contact Bill Nell right now to get him on the show next week to hear his side of the story. After all, we all know that there's usually three sides to every story: his, hers, and the truth. No, wait a minute. That's a divorce case. We're trying our best to get a hold of Bill Nell, and when we do, we'll let you, the Exo Nation, know. When I come back from the news at the top of the hour at 6.5 minutes past, because we're so close to Christmas and Thanksgiving is traditionally at the beginning of the Christmas season, I'm going to go through some old-time Christmas stories with you as the X Zone continues right here live and around the world from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. 1-800-610-7035 is our new toll-free number. Email xzone@xzoneradio.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our websites, www.xzoneradio.com and www.xzonetv.com.